The first thing you must understand, the thing that will either set you free or keep you trapped, is the difference between memorizing English and living in English. Most people spend years, sometimes decades, memorizing. They collect vocabulary like trophies on a shelf. They memorize grammar rules like scripture. They can recite, they can write on paper, they can pass examinations. But the moment a native speaker says, "Hey, how are you doing?" their mind goes completely, devastatingly blank. Why? Because they memorized English with their eyes, but they never learned it with their soul. It is not too late. Your brain, this extraordinary, miraculous, undefeated brain of yours, is not finished. It is waiting. It has always been waiting. Not for the right course, not for the right teacher, not for the right moment. It has been waiting for you to decide. So stay with me today, because what I am about to share with you is not just about English. It is about unlocking a version of yourself that you have never met, a version that is louder, freer, braver, and completely, unapologetically unstoppable. The full speech. What if I told you that the brain you were born with, the same brain that has carried you through your darkest nights, your heaviest losses, your most impossible mornings, is fully, completely, extraordinarily capable of thinking in any language on this earth? You would probably not believe me. And that right there, is the first problem we need to fix. Immersion is not a strategy. It is a survival instinct. When a child is born, nobody hands them a grammar book. Nobody makes them memorize vocabulary lists. The child is simply dropped into language, surrounded by it, bathed in it, breathing it from the very first moment. And within years, sometimes months, that child is speaking with complete natural fluency. The child does not try. The child simply lives inside the language. You have to create that same environment for yourself, deliberately, intentionally, fiercely. Your mornings must begin in English. The first thought that crosses your mind when your eyes open, even if it is simple, even if it is broken, must be in English. Today is going to be beautiful. I am tired, but I am going to try. I choose to be present. These are not just sentences. These are neural pathways being carved into your brain with every single repetition. Because somewhere along the way, someone told you that English was for a certain kind of person. A privileged person. A city person. A person who went to better schools, lived in better neighborhoods, had better opportunities. And you believed them. You sat quietly in the back of that story and accepted a smaller role than you were ever meant to play. But I am here to tell you today, that story was a lie, and we are going to burn it down together. Let us talk about the brain first, because if you understand how this magnificent machine actually works, everything changes. Your brain does not think in words. It thinks in patterns. It thinks in emotions. It thinks in images and associations. Language, any language, is simply the clothing your thoughts wear when they walk out into the world. And right now, your thoughts are wearing the same clothes they have always worn. Today, we are going to give them a new wardrobe. The shocking truth about immersion is that it does not require money. It does not require a visa to an English-speaking country. It does not require a fancy school or an expensive tutor. It requires only one decision, that from this day forward, English will not be a subject you study. It will be an atmosphere you live inside. Now let me tell you about the wall. The invisible wall that stands between most people and real English fluency. It is not grammar. It is not vocabulary. It is not accent or pronunciation or any of the things they tell you to practice. The wall is translation. Every single time your brain hears an English sentence and immediately rushes to translate it into your native language, every single time you think in your mother tongue first and then convert it to English, you are reinforcing that wall, brick by brick, moment by moment. And I know it feels safe. I know it feels like a lifeline, like holding on to something familiar while you navigate unfamiliar territory. But here is the brutal, uncomfortable, absolutely necessary truth. That lifeline is actually an anchor. It is keeping you exactly where you are, in the shallows, when the ocean of fluency is waiting for you just a little further out. Think about this. When a native English speaker sees a sunrise, they do not think golden light and then search for a translation. They simply feel the words rise naturally from the beauty in front of them. Language and experience are one single thing. They do not exist separately. The word and the feeling arrive together, simultaneously, like one breath. You need to train your brain to do the same thing. Stand in front of your mirror every single morning and have a conversation with yourself in English. Narrate your day as it happens. As you make breakfast, I am putting the kettle on. I am slicing the bread. I am deciding what kind of day I want today to be. As you walk to work, the street is crowded. The air is cold. I am carrying something heavy, but I am carrying it anyway. As you face a difficult moment, this is hard. I am struggling. But I have survived harder things than this. Do you know what is happening when you do this? You are not just practicing language. You are doing something profoundly more powerful. You are identifying yourself as an English thinker. You are telling your brain, this is who we are now. This is how we move through the world. The brain believes the stories you tell it. It does not know the difference between rehearsal and reality. When you speak English to yourself every day, even imperfectly, even with mistakes, even with long pauses where you search for words, your brain begins to accept English as its default setting. Not a second language, not a foreign language, a home language. And the first time you notice yourself dreaming in English, and you will, I promise you will understand that something irreversible has happened inside you. Something wonderful. Something that cannot be taken back. Let us talk about what you consume, because this matters more than you could possibly imagine. Start with the simplest objects in your world. Look at your coffee cup. Do not think cup as a translation exercise. Feel the word cup. Associate it with the warmth in your hands, the smell of the coffee, the comfort of the morning. Let the English word become inseparable from the experience. Do the same with your chair, your window, your tired eyes, your hopeful heart. This is not a language exercise. This is rewiring. This is you sitting in quiet power, choosing to rebuild your brain from the inside out. And now I want to talk about something that people will laugh at you for. Something that will make your family think you have lost your mind. Something that will make you feel slightly ridiculous in the beginning, but something that has been the secret weapon of every multilingual person who has ever mastered a new language. Talk to yourself. I am completely serious. What if, just what if, the only wall between you and the life you have always dreamed of is a language? What if the job you lost was not because of your skills, but because your English made them doubt your confidence? What if the relationship you couldn't build, the stage you were too afraid to stand on, the opportunity that walked past you, what if all of it happened because your brain was still thinking in one language while the world was moving in another? I want you to sit with that for a moment, because right now, in this very second, somewhere in this world, someone with half your talent, half your intelligence, half your struggle is getting the life you deserve. And the only difference between you and that person is that their brain thinks in English and yours is still asking for permission. But here's what I need you to hear, and I need you to hear it deep, somewhere past your fears, past your excuses, past that voice that keeps telling you it is too late. Your brain is not a machine, it is a garden. And whatever you plant in it, consistently, daily, with patience and persistence, is exactly what will grow. If you spend 20 hours a week consuming content in your native language and 30 minutes studying English, your brain will always treat English as a foreign visitor. Interesting, perhaps. Useful, certainly. But never truly home. You need to shift the ratio. Start watching content in English, not with subtitles in your native language, but with English subtitles, or better yet, with no subtitles at all. Let yourself be uncomfortable. Let yourself miss words. Let your brain work for comprehension, because that work is exactly what builds strength. Listen to English podcasts, not as study material, but as company. Let an English voice be what you hear while you cook, while you walk, while you sit in traffic. Read in English. Not textbooks, that is study. Read things that interest you. Read about art, about science, about human stories, about heartbreak and courage, and the kind of truths that make you feel less alone in this world. When you read things that matter to you, your brain is emotionally engaged. And emotionally engaged brains absorb language at an entirely different level. The shocking transformation comes when you stop thinking of English consumption as work and start experiencing it as life. When English becomes the language of your curiosity, your entertainment, your joy, it will become the language of your thoughts. And once it becomes the language of your thoughts, it will never leave you. Now I need to speak directly to the fear, because I know it is there. I know it is sitting inside many of you right now, heavy and familiar, whispering its old, comfortable lies. What if I make a mistake? What if people laugh? What if my accent is wrong? I want you to think about what it means to be a child learning to walk. The child falls, repeatedly, spectacularly, sometimes painfully. And not once does the child look at the floor and decide that falling means walking is not possible for them. The child gets up. The child tries again. The child falls again. The child gets up again. And one ordinary day, without announcement, without ceremony, the child walks. Your English journey is the same. Your stumbles are your steps. Your silences are your breaths between efforts. Your mispronunciations are your brain making its best attempt with the tools it currently has. And every attempt makes the tool sharper. Stop waiting to be perfect before you begin. Begin, and perfection will find its way to you. And finally, and this is the key that unlocks every other key, I want you to feel in English. This is the secret that changes everything. Your brain has a hierarchy of memory. At the very top, stored deepest, held longest, retrieved most naturally, is emotional memory. The things you feel deeply, you remember forever. The experiences that move you, that break you open, that fill you with wonder, that make your heart contract with grief or expand with joy. Those experiences carve permanent, unshakable pathways in your neural architecture. This means that the fastest, most permanent, most powerful way to think in English is to attach the language to your real emotions. When you are angry, express that anger in English, not for an exercise, but because that anger is real, and language should be able to carry your realness. When you are heartbroken, write your heartbreak in English. When you experience a moment of pure, unexpected joy, a beautiful sky, a kind gesture, a small victory, Celebrate it in English. Let English hold your real life. Let it be present for your tears and your laughter, your fears and your courage, your most ordinary days and your most extraordinary moments. When a language carries your genuine human experience, it becomes part of you. It lives inside you the way music lives inside a person who has danced to it in their most important moments. This is not just learning English. This is becoming someone who thinks, breathes, feels, and lives in English. Not because they studied hard enough, but because they chose deeply enough. So here is what I want you to walk away with today. Your brain is not broken. It was never broken. It has been waiting, patiently, faithfully, with extraordinary loyalty, for you to give it the right environment, the right food, the right permission. You came here today for English practice, but what you are really practicing, what you have been practicing this entire time, is the radical, world-changing act of believing in yourself. And that belief is the most fluent thing in any language. Train it through immersion. Surround yourself in English until it becomes the air you breathe. Kill the translation habit. Let English speak directly to your experience, not through the filter of another language. Talk to yourself, unapologetically, consistently, with the courage of someone who has decided that growth matters more than pride. Consume English like it is your daily sustenance, through stories, voices, ideas, and art that genuinely moves you. Embrace every single mistake as a milestone, because every stumble is your brain growing stronger, more capable, more fluent. And feel in English. Let the language carry your real human life until it becomes inseparable from who you are. This is not a journey that ends with perfect grammar. It is a journey that ends with a new version of you. Someone who moves through the world with more confidence, more connection, more access to the extraordinary possibilities that language can open. What if I forget a word in the middle of a sentence and everyone sees? I want you to listen to me very carefully right now. Every single person who speaks English beautifully today was once exactly where you are. Every confident presenter, every fluent speaker, every person whose English makes you feel inadequate, they were once in the middle of a sentence, heart pounding, palms sweating, desperately searching for a word that would not come. Every single one of them. The difference is not talent. The difference is not intelligence. The difference, the only difference, is that they kept going. Mistakes are not evidence that you cannot do this. Mistakes are evidence that you are trying. And trying, consistent, courageous, relentless trying, is the only path that has ever led anyone to mastery of anything.